Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP finds themselves facing off with a self-entitled Karen at the grocery store. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button, smash the like if you enjoy the content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a juicy story. Entitled Karen makes fun of my height to try to win an argument. I'm turning 27 in a few weeks and stand at a meager 5'2". Because of my height, people have never taken me seriously, and it'll probably be a long time before anyone does. Most of the time, I try to keep myself busy and not think about it, but in my private moments, I find myself hating this accursed height, or when I'm feeling moody. Cast. Me, insert snarky name/title here. EM, entitled Medusa. TD, EM's teenage daughter. So I was standing in front of a self-checkout after picking up groceries, and it was one of those days when I was feeling moody and wallowing in self-pity. Suddenly, a Karen appeared and cut in line. She didn't even stand in the correct spot for social distancing. She just waltzed in front of me. She was with her teenage daughter, who already looked like she wanted to bury her head in the sand. Not wanting to deal with this, I decided to call her out. Me. Excuse me, but you just cut in front of me. EM. No, I didn't. You're just slow. Me. Please get behind the line. I've been waiting. TD. Mom, he's right. You aren't even... EM. No, I got this. Turns back to me. I am not listening to someone so short. She was around 5'7". Me. What does that have to do with you cutting in line? EM. You just don't understand how our society works. No one's going to listen to your hobbit butt. People behind me went, ooh, and the daughter buried her face in her hands. Me, with a nonchalant look. You don't understand how our society works either. No one's going to listen to your logicless butt. She was left stunned. People snickered, and even TD was trying not to laugh. One of the checkouts became available, and I went around her to purchase my food. I thought this was the end, but no, EM wanted to win this bitter battle. She came up to me and used her arms to swipe everything off the counter. EM, you will apologize and buy my groceries. Me, no, I will not apologize for something I'm right about, let alone reward your childlike behavior. EM, I am older and wiser than you. You'll listen to me. Me, I am a senior at State University averaging a 3.8 GPA. What's your education? TD, chiming in, giggling, GED. EM, her face goes red. I still have authority to ruin you. My husband is me. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Tell me, have you done any work aside from getting money from him? EM, what does that have to do with me? Have you endured any form of hardship, struggle, or problems to get where you are? EM finally shuts up. Me, you see, that's the difference between you and me. Regular folks like me had to work their butts off to achieve what they wanted. Unlike you, who had everything handed down because you opened your legs to some rich and powerful dude. EM was about to say more, but that's when the manager and security arrived. They didn't even need to take statements, apparently. She had been banned from this store before. She was quickly escorted out, with TD trailing behind. People who were watching the whole thing offered to buy my stuff, but I knew I wasn't that desperate. I simply went back to grab the items again and paid for them, despite the manager insisting it would be on the house. As I exited, TD was waiting for me and apologized for her mom's behavior. I apologized for that last remark, sounding like it was directed at her. She didn't find it offensive, but found it hilarious. Poor daughter. She has to deal with that mom, and she knows her mom was in the wrong. And our second story. Finally got to tell a junk customer how every clerk felt about assisting them. For a period of time, I worked for a New England-based hardware/home and garden store. We had a customer that was the most impolite individual, definitely thought of retail people as lower than himself, and treated every clerk with contempt. In this, there's me, JC, junk customer, SM, store manager. Well, my course had changed, and I moved on from said job and was working as a carpenter and was in that location to buy something for a project I was working on. The uniform at the store was a dark green polo and a dark green fleece as a cover-up. I'm a woodsy guy. Almost all my clothes are brown, tan, duck, black, green, and this day I happen to be wearing dark brown pants with a dark green sweatshirt from a local building supply company, dark green with white labeling of said company. Pretty easy to see it wasn't a store-issued garment with any real observation. I'm in the hardware aisle where there are also lubricants for loosening stuck bolts and whatnot, which I was looking at. This guy walks into the aisle, and I made no notice besides that someone else had entered the space. JC, clears throat. Me, in my head, that guy sounds horrible. JC, clears throat again. Excuse me. Me, sorry, thinking I'm blocking the shelving he needs something off and moving over. JC, no, you're supposed to help me. Me, no, I'm not. I no longer work for this company. JC, that's bullcrap. I see you in here regularly. You're even wearing a uniform. Me, this is a insert building company sweatshirt, pointing out the label on my breast. I haven't worked here for almost a year, and the reason I'm in here regularly is because, like you, it's the closest hardware store to my house. JC, well, you're gonna help me anyway because you know stuff about what I need. Me, nope. In no way is that happening. I didn't get paid enough when I did work here to put up with your crappy attitude, and now that I'm not making any money for this interaction, I'm definitely not putting up with it. JC, I'm gonna tell SM about this. Me, and she's gonna do what exactly? Hold your hand and tell you it'll be okay? She doesn't hold sway over me, or my actions in this moment, so good luck with that. JC, I can't believe how rude you are. Me, that's rich. Are you really that self-unaware? Have you ever not actually thought about why, when I did work here, I was the only one to help you? I'll clue you in. It was because no one else wanted to, and I wanted to keep them from your condescension and entitled attitude. Now, about this time, SM had come around to find me as we have a good relationship and wanted to catch up. She heard a decent amount of what was said on the way over. As she walks into the aisle, JC turns to her and says, JC, your so-called former employee is verbally abusing me and says that no one ever wants to help me because I'm a jerk. Well, SM doesn't have much of a filter and responds with, well, he is a former employee and hasn't worked here for nearly a year. And frankly, customer's name, he's not wrong. The look on his face was priceless, and he just harumphed and told her that he would take his business elsewhere, which only got a simple, you do that from her. We had a good laugh, and the vindication from her, coupled with the opportunity to say what I did, was fantastic. And our next story. You're right, sir. I can't help you. I'm a 20-year-old female that works at a boat shop. I don't know much about boats, but I know some things. I get a call, and old man is on the line. I answer with my normal introduction. Hello, thank you for calling, but he cuts me off by saying, parts. We don't have a parts section. We're a small boating store. I ask him what part he's looking for. He asks if we don't have a parts section. I say no and ask what he is looking for again. He says, no, you can't help me. Is there a man on duty that can? This irritates me because if he tells me everything about his boat I can help, I explain to him that yes, there is, but he is on break and won't be back for... He cuts me off again and says he'll wait. I put him on hold for 10 minutes and he ends up hanging up. Guy comes into store 20 minutes later and asks if there's a guy here he can speak to. I tell him he's on break and won't be back for an hour. He then tries to tell me what he needs, and I say I have no idea what you're talking about. Sorry, I don't think I can help you, sir. If you come back in an hour, I'm sure my coworker can. He tells me I'm rude and leaves the store. Haven't seen him since. And our last story. Karen called the cops on me at my house. I have a neighbor who owns the place behind mine on a private drive. A couple months ago, she threw a party and had family members driving off-road vehicles all night in circles for a haunted trail. Part of it came onto my property near my house and was keeping me awake, so I walked out in my pajama pants and kindly asked the guy driving to stay on their side of the line. He stopped. It was all good, I thought. A few weeks later, I got a package accidentally delivered to my house meant for the neighbor. It was one of those soft Amazon packages, definitely nothing breakable like slippers or maybe a coat. So I went to that neighbor's house and tossed it towards her door. Apparently after this, she called my work, demanded to talk to my boss, and demanded I be reprimanded. She said I confronted her cousin and yelled at him to stop riding his ORV, and I callously threw her package at her house. Clear exaggerations of what happened. My boss explained that my work has nothing to do with the dispute between neighbors. She still wanted him to talk to me about it. My boss called me into his office and told me what happened. It was so embarrassing. Plus, I work for a notable firm in the area that doesn't appreciate negative PR. I decided not to make things worse and didn't confront her. It was so frustrating seeing her smugly drive by every day. Fast forward 4 months to today. I got home from work to find packages on my deck. I brought them inside and discovered one addressed to the neighbor. Yay! I decided to go for my evening walk as planned and figured I'd try to be the bigger man and return the package when I got back. The temptation to be petty was immense, admittedly. When I came back from my walk, I found the neighbor and her older daughter on my deck. She asked if I had a package. I went inside and grabbed it and handed it to her. I told her I didn't appreciate what she did by calling my boss and lying about the details. Well, that went about as well as you'd think. She accused me of stealing her package and told me it's a federal offense to mess with her mail. I told her I'd planned to give her the package, but she was stuck on how it was inside my house. She asked me if I planned on throwing it like I did the last one. I told her if anything was broken, I'd gladly pay for it. Then she said it. She asked if I wanted her to call my boss again. My heart sank, and I told her to do whatever she wanted. She started to waddle away, and I started going back into my house. Then I heard her yelling at me again. She turned around and started screaming about how I took her mail. I turned away from my door and told her to leave and that she was trespassing. She wouldn't leave. I told her at least 10 times to just go. She kept yelling about calling my boss and telling me she had cameras. Well, so do I. I pointed at them and she finally left. And then the cops showed up. This is the main reason I put up cameras, because of other stunts she's pulled, and thank God I got them. I showed the fuzz the footage and they laughed. I guess she reported that I stole her package and threatened her. I showed the cops the video of the UPS guy dropping off the package, me bringing the package inside without looking at it. Now she's been officially trespassed and can't come onto my property anymore. But wait, there's more. She called my boss and told him the same lies she told the cops. I sent him the video and he said he understands. Still a garbage situation to deal with. How do you all deal with neighbors from hell? Update. Met with attorney, going to let things marinate for a bit. Yesterday was the only in-person negative interaction we've had, and I'm still putting together the other stuff she's done before, Facebook posts, etc. Also found out this woman had a kid with a married man, expecting to ensnare him into a relationship. He decided he'd rather stay with his wife. A few years later, she doubled down, tried again, and had another kid with the same guy. He still stayed with the wife. So now she lives off a dead-end job and child support. To further protect myself, I've also had my attorney send her a formal cease and desist letter. The letter demands that she stop all further harassment and false accusations or face legal action. You could also make a little sign and leave it by where they usually leave the packages, asking them to please take a second and verify addresses. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.